In this video, we'll see the system design using ASIC. So the ASIC is an application-specific integrated circuit which is customized for a particular use rather than intended for general purpose. So these ASIC chips are typically fabricated using metal oxide semiconductor, that is MOS technology, as MOS integrated circuit chips. This diagram shows the ASIC design flow. The first step of the design flow is the specifications. So this mentions what logic or function the ASIC must perform, how much area it should consume, what would be the clock frequency, and all those details. So next comes the architectural design. Here the top level design engineer will formulate the block diagram as per the given specifications in terms of functionality, power, performance and area. So here you can see the block diagram which will be designed by the architectural engineer. So next comes the RTL coding. But before that, while formulating the block diagram, after formulating the block diagram as per the specification requirements, the cost of the chip would also be estimated at this level. Okay, if everything is fine, then we'll be moving on to the next step, which is RTL coding, that is register transfer level coding. Here the designer will actually design the functionality of for the given specifications in algorithmic manner using RTL code, either by using Verilog or VHDL. For this purpose, you can be using the Xilinx tools and design the behavioral model, which is the algorithmic way of specifying the design of the application. So after this RTL coding, the functional verification is done. This functional verification will check if the functionality has been satisfied, or in case if any errors have been encountered between the specification as well as the design. Then the code will be debugged and a certain number of iterations will be followed until the code meets the specifications. So this is RTL coding and functional verification. Next comes the logic synthesis. So in logic synthesis, the behavioral code, the code is transferred to a structural code. So you can see the high level code is being transferred to a structural code where you can actually see the design as per the functionality in the form of simple gates, in the form of basic gates. The same functionality which has been mentioned here through an algorithm or code will be available in this portion in a structural manner. The tools which will be used for the logic synthesis commonly are design compiler of Synopsys, or you can also be using Cadence software. So the input to this logic synthesis would be the RTL code, the library functions and the constraints file. There are three stages to this logic synthesis. They are translate, mapping and optimization. So translate means the high level RTL code, the algorithm which we have written in either Verilog or VHDL, is converted to corresponding logic gates. Then mapping, the tools will actually map the logic gates with the required technology, which can be either 20 nanometer, 40 nanometer, etc. Then optimization is done in terms of power, area and timing. So in this level, the design for test insertion is also done, that is DFT. This is also done at this level. This DFT is specifically followed only for the ASIC design, whereas in FPGA design this portion is not coming into play. So next comes the logic verification after the logic synthesis. So here we'll be checking for the correctness of the logic. So in case there is any mismatch between the logic specified or given in the specifications and the structural code, then the corrections would be done over here until it meets the specifications. So the output of this logic synthesis would be gate level netlist and constraints file. This will be given as input to the physical design. The tools used for physical design are ICC2 in Synopsys and Innovus by Cadence. Here the gate level netlist is converted to GDS2 layout. GDS is a graphical database, that is the layout will be in transistor level. So it is the physical representation of the design, whatever we have designed as per the given requirements. So now let's see what actually happens during the physical design phase. So in physical design, the gate level netlist, constraints file and the library files are imported over here. So the first part will be the floor plan. After estimating the die size, the input output ports are placed where the macro to macro connection is done, and so here it will be decided how to place the macros on the core area. So this is the floor plan. So the same hierarchy macros are represented by similar colors. So the same hierarchy macros should be placed close to each other. This is done in order to get better efficiency and to get higher performance. After the floor plan is completed, we'll be doing the power plan. So here the planning is done such that uniform power should be sent to all the cells. So for this a power mesh is built using VSS and VDD. So using this the power will be distributed uniformly to all the cells. So next part is placement and place opt. So here in an IC there are actually millions of tiny standard cells. So the tool will determine the location where the macros has to be placed, and it places it so as to optimize the power area as well as timing. So next is the clock tree synthesis or CTS. So here you have a PLL or phase lock loop which generates a clock signal, and a clock tree is designed which sends the clock signal to all the flows with minimum queuing and insertion delay. So here also the optimization is done with respect to timing, area and power. So after this comes the detailed routing. Here the tool will make signal connections using metals and wires as per the logic connection defined in the netlist. Here optimization is achieved. Optimization is done so as to achieve good quality. After the routing stage, it is sent for sign off. So here the formal verification, physical verification, signal integrity analysis, IR drop and power analysis, all these checks are carried out. Formal verification, also called as equivalency checking, what it does is it compares to see if two versions of a design are functionally equivalent, that is the design stage during RTL coding as well as during post synthesis. It verifies whether the design remains the same or the functionality remains the same throughout the flow. Now after satisfying all the verification checks and getting signed off, the ASIC design will be sent to the foundry to be fabricated on a chip. So after fabrication, it will be packaged and tested in a lab to make sure the design is perfect, after which it will be released in the market. After implementing the design, we'll be getting a summary of the design, whatever we have implemented, that is synthesize XST, translate, map, place and route, and all those processes. Now let's see what each of these reports details are about. So first thing is the synthesis report details. So here you have 5 major sections. So they are the HDL parser, elaboration, HDL synthesis, advanced synthesis and low level synthesis. HDL parser compiles one module at a time, checks for type mismatches within the module. These errors are labeled as HDL compiler. So next is the elaboration. This actually stitches together all the HDL that was created. Computation from parameters are made and checked for errors. The common errors found here will be interpreting the logic from HDL. So next is about the HDL synthesis. So this it begins to recognize basic macros and detect finite state machines. The errors in this section will be very rare, and if found, you will have to do an analysis of the previous step to work out on those errors. So next is the advanced HDL synthesis. So here this report gives it actually combines basic macros from HDL synthesis into larger macros. Next is the low level synthesis. Here it optimized for targeted devices. Here the global optimization occurs at this stage. So here we can see various options, the source parameters which are available during the synthesis stage, the target options, general options, all those which have been selected. This is the compilation part. Then comes the HDL synthesis, the advanced synthesis. Here it gives details about the macros, then the partition report, and finally the final report and the timing details, the device utilization summary and the timing report. Next is the translation report. So here we can see the NGD build program here. Okay, the NGD build program actually performs the following functions. What it does is it actually converts the input design netlists and writes result to single merged NGD netlist. This describes the logic in the design as well as any location and timing constraints. It also performs timing specification and logical design rule checks, and it also adds constraints from the UCF to the merged netlist. So this is what is being done, and the details given for translation report. So next is about the map. So here we can see the details about the mapping being done. The map program, it reads the NGD, allocates CLB and IOB resources for all basic logic elements in the design. It processes all location and timing constraints performs target device optimizations, and runs a design rule check on the resulting mapped netlist. So this is what being displayed for the map report. So here you can get the IOB details, the timing report, the configuration string details, and all those things. So next is about the place and route design. After the map design is evaluated, the design can be placed and routed. One of the following two algorithms is performed here. One will be the timing driven place and route. So this here the process is run with the timing constraint specified in the input netlist or constraints file, or it can perform another algorithm which is non-timing driven place and route. So here it is run ignoring all the timing constraints. It also provides a device utilization and delay summary. This report is used to verify that the design is successfully routed and all timing constraints are met. So here you can see the details about the optimization done, the placement and routing optimization and performance, and finally we get the report on the timing, that is a clock report. So finally, when everything is perfect, so you can see the placement and routing has completed successfully without any errors or warnings, and the .ncd file has been created. So next is the post placement and route static timing report. So here, after the design is placed and routed, we can analyze the post place and route timing results to verify how the design performs against your specified timing goals. So this report actually it evaluates the logic block delays and routing delays. The net delays are reported as actual routing delays after the place and route process. It also shows the estimated changes in the total unplaced flows. So in general, we can reduce excessive block delays and improve design performance by decreasing the number of logic levels. Next, the power report. It helps to identify the reset nets in the design, so we can verify the switching information on the nets and take corrective action. It also helps to identify such enable nets in the design so that we can quickly validate the switching information and correct any errors. So here we can see the default activity rates, the on-chip power summary, so on-chip, the clocks, logic, signals, all those things. So next comes the bitgen report. So this can be used to verify the bitstream file, whether the specified options were used when creating the configuration data. Next, it's about the webtalk log and webtalk report. So here, by viewing the routing information, you can see how the routing has been done on the device for the given design or algorithm. So this is the device on which we have placed and routed the design, and you can view the connections for the placement over here. So this will create the .ncd and .xdl files. Thus, this is the design summary report of the physical design flow.